Alright, the bits are flowing. And YouTube shows that we're live. Awesome. So, we can't do that background music because we don't want to get copyright struck. And so we can't do that background music. Alright, looking good. What's up? Welcome back to the Homeless Data Project. And this should have been public. Let's see if we can change that. Sorry, I must have just not confirmed the step. So let me just post this to Twitter, which you get it. If you've watched live streams, you know, if you're even here. And this is a subscribers only chat. Alright, so got that posted. And I'll keep the chat up. Alright, so this stream is a continuation of yesterday. You can see that on YouTube. Basically, I was just explaining the steps of processing, and got some pictures on the phone. I just got to do it old school style. And I noticed yesterday that I typed my passcode in view of the camera, so no worries, my passcode was changed right away, even though it is on airplane mode all the time. So here is how many we had, and this is not including everything that we have inside this box. So, and then this is what we have now, which is, I just sorted them by height and then just smashed, you know, as many could fit under this book, these couple books, threw 8 extra pounds of water on top, because they were still about like this high, as you could see in that photo perhaps. See if I took one closer. So here's one with them all stacked up just by height. So that's what's under the books. Pardon, that's going quick. This will be on VOD, so you can replay it all. Just time, you know, it's going on Friday night, so. Here's something else I did earlier today. So it's getting a little cold. And so I put my salt lamp in the middle of a circle of my plants. So that's not related to what we're doing, but to everyone who's living on the streets or vehicle dwellers, like, I had one of my plants while I was in the vehicle, and this isn't covering up my head for any reason. It's just how it's hanging. And don't worry, that's an LED bulb, so it's not getting too hot. It's super dusty down here. Okay, so yeah, and last night what I did, I think I took a picture of that as well. Was I smashed the other table down on all the receipts. So I've got this table, that table. I took this stuff off and just smashed it down. But yeah, like this batch was just smashed under books for a couple days. So that ended up really good. So hopefully these will be better after a day or two there. And then So today I'm just going to be scanning this batch, and then those are ready to scan next. There's probably like 3 times as many there as there, if not like 6. Some of these are scanned and entered. They'll need to be reflattened. And then these are just sorted. Like I sorted these a long time ago. That's a year's worth. And those will have to be flattened again. So basically it'll be, just the pipeline over. So I'm doing this all on battery power too. I've got this one battery. It's just barely out of view here. So this is about a 65 watt hour, if I understand correctly. So I guess this will last 1 to 2 hours, and then the laptop has its own battery that's charged up. And this is a subscribers chat, so just to keep it quiet and, just to keep the trolls out for the most part. So I may indefinitely keep pushing the minimum amount of time one must have been subscribed backwards, just to stop new people from signing up and trolling the chat, because I don't really want to moderate it and blah blah blah. Still pretty small, so one troll really goes a long way towards mixing stuff up. So yeah, basically the process now is just these are sorted by month and they're flat, and they're also sorted by type. So I've got grocery stores, restaurants, and transportation or something. And then doing this on a little Raspberry Pi box, which I just took the camera out of focus. I know I took it out of focus for a long time yesterday by mistake. Just got to get my muscle memory going for this studio setup. And this is pretty much all equipment I've had for years. So yeah, this is the box, and then I'm remote desktoped into that. I could just hook it straight up, but I like just being able to, drag the studio's windows on top of the box that I'm on without having to, mess with getting the camera and everything on this box. That could actually be off the network if I wanted it to, except for, the remote desktop portion. So yeah, live stream in a crate. That's a video that I posted on Twitter earlier today. Same setup, just got HDMI with audio going into that mess of stuff. I did a couple test streams that I haven't put on public. I'll probably just do a cleaner one later, but that one that I did 4 years ago is still relevant, still the same stuff. So yeah, I was just gonna then show the desktop. So I've got unencrypted directory, P1, scans, receipts, so 2021 by month, 2022. So yeah, we can pretty much just drop them in this directory without worrying about too much, or maybe we can just do it because we already know. Let me get the camera up here. So it's just dropped by pile. So I've got an envelope that says, the year and month. So I really just go, put them on there, put them there, put them on there, put them there. And maybe a good test would be to see if I can do a live stream from the library, because I never code here. I only do personal administrative work on this property. I sleep and I do personal admin work and stuff like that. I don't actually create intellectual property here. So just study, do personal admin work. So something I'm noticing is I'm smelling a new smell. So it could either be that the AC mode of the battery has a fan on and it's just burning dust, or it could be that I'm pulling so much current that the battery discharge is creating a chemical smell. So this would be relevant to van lifers who use power in a confined space. You might want to make sure you get ventilation. So, all right. So I don't really want to show the data on the screen. Like, I kind of wish there was a blur filter. So, just because, like, you know, where I go is kind of sensitive. Maybe if I have some... Yeah, 2021-09. This is kind of interesting because this is where I'm traveling. So if you know, I don't usually like look at them as I'm scanning them. Oops, or doodles. But yeah, if I see a set that are like somewhere in the middle of nowhere just as I was traveling, yeah, I can show a screenshot of those. Yeah, just get them one on that side, one on this side, and there's these tiny ones that are really annoying, but I still just treat them as a whole receipt because I mean they go through the compression, whatever. So yeah, just put 2 down, close the lid, go into the scanning app. And that includes the scanner running on battery too. Like, I'm really just benchmarking this to see how long I can run, and that would be about equivalent to what a van lifer would be able to experience with this like 65-ish watt hour battery. So it's ready to scan, so I tap scan and it'll do its thing. So now I'm just going to bring this over to my monitor that is not on the live stream. Whoop. For some reason the session ended when I made it full screen on the smaller monitor. Right. So, yeah, now I just tap scan. And I guess maybe you guys can get a rough picture of what's coming up. Well, no, because I'm not putting... yeah, I mean, actually, if I angle this screen right, you'll get a rough picture. So I tap scan, you can hear it work. And you can kind of see there's 2 receipts. Enhance, right? See if I full screen that, bring this into a window, if it doesn't crash. Because I still want to be able to see the YouTube live chat. Okay, cool, so it puts scroll bars, which is fine with me. Just in case anyone who's been subscribed long enough to chat says anything, I've got it open. And it won't impact my scanning experience. So I've got page here. So, yep, so there's one page, and then the process is we just keep doing that over and over until we run out of this type of receipt. And one thing I did not do was cut the top edges off of these. So that is maybe something I should do. like I can compensate by not pushing the top side up all the way. So now it brings on the second page. But yes, I just want to not maximize that window then. Just make it about the same size as what I'm working with here. There we go. Alright, so page 2. So yeah, the gas receipts. Man, are we already in gas receipts? It's kind of hard to know exactly how to separate these, but these are 2022, no 2021, 9. It actually looks like I put these in order by date. I don't think I'm going to do sorting for those. I think I'll just do a bunch of those and then use a script to split it all up. And then either depend on the OCR or make a little app where I just scroll through a directory of images and like tap the year and it moves it, goes to the next one, tap the year. You know what I'm saying? That's the cool thing about being a coder, is you can do little things like that save a ton of time. But yeah, hopefully the OCR will work. So save this. Now one of these isn't even a restaurant, it's just like a misc. It's really annoying. Since there's only 2 pages, I'll just go back and redo it. Well, actually I can just delete this page. See, I'm not supposed to be thinking this much about it. Like, I really just want to be scanning during this step. You know, maybe I will just do this whole month. I'll just change it up and make this whole month one PDF. However, yeah, getting the top right is very important because you need a straight top for OCR. And the demo that I found does edge detect and rotate. But I just fear that rotating it will, you know, just slightly skew the text and make it that much less probable that the OCR will work. So I just kind of want to have it straight off the bat. I'm going to just run upstairs and get scissors quick. And I won't run with the scissors, don't worry. So I did not run with the scissors. Something I wasn't mindful of was putting the first one here, the second one here, first one here, second one here, so that they're in sorted order. I didn't pull it off in the same order. So let's see if these ended up in the correct order. Oh, we're already at, oh, it's because it's a different type of receipt. So 920, 917, 920. So we were not good about it there. But these are different types of receipts anyway, so they would have been in order by type of receipt. So we would have wanted restaurants, something else. That's restaurants again. See, I'm being just like way too OCD about this right now. Like, the job is just to scan them because they're much easier to work with when they're digital. So 9.1, 9.20, and I just scanned that set. So gas 9.1, 9.30. So yeah, this isn't going to be in order. 9.1, 9.1. So obviously I was driving on 9.1. Anyway, so that's like 10, and I'm going to be crossing time zones here as well. So it's going to be almost correct, but not perfect. As long as they're straight. I've got I've got good confidence in the OCR. But yeah, so like not everyone has the little imperfection on top. When we get to the bulk of ones that do, I'll start cutting them. And the compensation for that is to push it off to the side more so than the top. We'll see if we can get away with not cutting them, but just in case. Alright, so here we've got a sample of non-sensitive ones. So this is just me driving across the country. So see, this is a little bit crooked, so I'm a little bit less confident in OCR there. And I'm sure there's some test we can do to see if the OCR matched or not. So I guess the crookedness would be if the receipt was a little bit bent. That's what I've seen in the past. And I've digitized like, probably 6 months or so out of 4 years. So and obviously the number won't be completely representative since the live stream is using a little bit of battery as well. But it'll be, within the same order of magnitude, I think. Another thing we could do to cut power would be to drop using the big screen. Like, we can't just say, oh, use the laptop screen, because if they're both charged off the vehicle's charging system, then the current is either going to go into the battery or into the laptop, unless the alternator is big enough to support both, in which case you do get a little bit of extra mileage. Like the Jackery can only charge a max of 40 watts, but a lot of standard car generators only have like 80 watt alternators, so probably don't want to draw more than that anyway. So to go around that and put 2 things on the accessory port, no. I had a much better handle of this when I was living in the car full time. It's been a while now, so It's a little bit rusty in my mind. So in this batch I did not sort the really tall ones, but in that one I did. Because it's just the really tall ones, you still kind of want to, you can cut off some of the top or bottom. Because usually my shopping lists aren't that long. Right, so this is at risk of being a little crooked because it's got that top edge thing hanging off. So as I flatten it, it might get pushed crooked. So I've got to look carefully at this one. I mean, the thing is, it's like, it's straight enough for the human eye, but you never know how the algorithm's going to read it. Because yeah, it did indeed push down a little bit. So I'm going to just delete this one and rescan that with the top edges cut off. So you don't have to get it perfect, you just have to go less than. I'll let you see it a little closer. You can maybe see that top little edge sticking up. I'm trying to keep it against something with contrast. It's right there. So you just cut off this corner. So I'm in a much less cramped space scanning this time. Before I was in a really cramped space, and so it was just like really hard to manage all of these pieces. While those are scanning, I can just clip the next corners. The back one. So it's a disappointingly involved process. So this is where people with jobs like this, maybe, you know, listening to a podcast or something, like you don't have to necessarily concentrate, but you also can't be doing anything else. Because you're just going to slow your velocity down so much if you're doing anything else. Like I really should have a little bin that I'm cutting these into. So yeah, I know you're not necessarily here to just watch me do this. I just thought turning on subscriber chat would be kind of fun. Because yeah, I've been putting out videos for like 4 years and never go on subscriber chat. Off and on for 4 years. Mostly off, but you know. I don't want to call myself a hobo. I'm just a professional guy who doesn't have anywhere, who's not able to get a lease of my own, who's not able to get my own secure living space where I'm not beholden to other people's emotions. Like when I'm on the street, people could just call the cops on me at any time. Not that the cops will definitely come, but maybe depend. So there's a tall one, so I've got to compensate a little bit for it there. And also when I close it down, the long ones tend to shift, rotate a little bit more. So these are two long ones. because this thing kind of pushes it straight down onto the glass, and so when that happens, these guys kind of push up. So what I really should do is take the long stack and fold them appropriately before I scan them. So having this kind of mouse is nice too, because it just stays on the click on the button that I need to press. You can kind of see the mouse move maybe, or the button turning green and red. So it just stays there. The video was unlisted when it went live, so I'm not 100% sure that any subscribers will even be notified. So here's one where they're on opposite sides. So it's almost like you could infer, is it a right or left-handed cashier from which side it was torn on. So maybe I'll try to retain that data by clipping it. Oh, it's also two different retailers as well. So it could be how the cashier setup is. Because, you know, most people are right-handed or work with their right hand. So, you know, you're usually going to have the same tear side. Figure that out later. I don't want to think about that now. I just want to get this done. Alright, so we're almost done with this month. Hooray. This is pretty much the fastest step if you process the things right. The receipts, the thingies. And since I'm mostly over here, I'll turn the mic. I've got it on. There is an Omni mode. It's a triple condenser, but I've just got it on focused mode to kind of like cancel out whatever background noise there may be. Like there's a fan running in the background. So it's kind of funny. This is what you don't do if you're an alcoholic. You know, you just let these little things slide for so long. Am I saying that I was an alcoholic? Will I let 4 years of receipts build up? No, absolutely not. I did not drink at all in my time on the street, unless I had a hotel room, and not every time I had a hotel room. Like, almost, not quite kind of occasionally. Like, there were literally like 4 or 5 times, and yes, I have the receipts. So, if even 4 or 5, it might have been like 2 or 3. And it was like, as I had enough money where I thought I was going to be able to afford housing. But I ended up quitting jobs because of what I came later to think of as Jezebel spirit. And then, you know, being a high vibration person who doesn't drink, doesn't eat any animal products, you know, you're pretty high vibration. And one could argue whether, you know, eating animal meat or not, you know, contributes to vibration, but going vegetarian was, to me, maybe I'm going a little bit off topic in this stream, but anyway, just talking about, yeah, like, it was like, you know, getting a few grand in the bank, buy a bottle of wine when I'm in a motel room. Why get a motel room if you're just trying to save? It's just like, you know, you got to kind of like feel human in a way. Like, you got to do something to feel human. So I'd spend like $120 for a motel every week or 3. not on a fixed schedule at that time. Alright, so this whole month is scanned. So save, start a new document. So we'll just call this 2020, whoops. And I'll just call this 09.pdf. Yeah. Since I've got all the receipts from 09 in there. And what I do, if I find more, I just make like 09 too. Actually, I'll keep the convention and yeah, I'll move them in there into their own directory later. It's like I'm really just trying to optimize for minimal time to get the scans done. Because once they're digital, like I don't need all this physical space. Save the document. And these end up being like not very big. We'll see how big it ends up being. So this is 8.6 megs, and it's scanned with like 600 DPI. So looks like it's done saving. So I'll go new document, and I'll just bring it over here again, and we can look at the settings. So it's image mode, color. I found it just overall gives a better image if it's color than black and white. For not, you know, it's more about, basically this will be 4 times bigger than this if it's just black and white before compression. But like after compression, I mean 8.6 megs for a month of receipts in today's terms isn't too bad, so that's what I went with. And if we go 600, it just gets a lot slower. So 300 I think is good enough for imaging these. Alright, so on to the next month. So I'll just put the envelope on top. Good Lord, we're already going on 40 minutes. So probably wrap it up pretty quick since nobody's popping on. That there. This over here. And so yeah, there's one, so like there's a couple things that I just keep in their own stack, which is transaction records and also employee clock in and clock out. So I've got just a couple dedicated stacks of those because they're a little bit different than regular receipts. So here you see I've got 2 tiny ones, but I'll still, and they're not flattened, so you can see what an ordeal that is. Maybe I'll just give them a little time to flatten inside of this book. So these are just like tiny stubs from adding balance to a gift card. So here's one that got like hella ripped. It's like amazing. I think like 85% of these receipts have the little tear artifact sticking out the top. Time flies when you're having fun. So yeah, we're tapping up towards 45 minutes, so if you got anything to say it in the next 3.5 minutes or keep your peace. Yeah. So it's like now with these scanned, even if, because I can't tell you how suspicious it looks to do this in a car on the side of the road, which I have done. Some of the chart that I showed yesterday was done on the side of a road in a car. Because I did make attempts to enter these things every month as part of my monthly habits. And I did do it for at least a couple or a few months. But just like life is so crazy. I know if you have a good, stable environment, it's like, oh, just pound through it. F motivation. It's not about motivation. It's literally about logistics when you're so poor. And yes, I'm wealthy. I'm not like beating myself up. I'm not envying or anything like that. It's just like stating the facts. Like, when you're poor as F, you don't have that much control over your life. Just like have the discipline to accept that, bro. Like, it's not making excuses. Like, there's literally like poverty, you know, federal poverty line, and when you're living below that, you're basically special needs person. You're definitely vulnerable. Just get a job. You know, I've had jobs, I've gotten jobs, I've got political factors that have me stuck in this situation. So I've talked at length about them. I have ways that I can resolve them, but obviously it costs a lot of money. So otherwise I would do them. And even if it doesn't cost a lot of money, it costs more money than I have available to me. So which is very little. So let's see, coming up on 43.40. Cut it off by 45. So is there anything else about this process? I mean, it's just doing the work and being able to withstand isolation, which I've never had a problem with, you know. So yeah, just rounded off 44 in case the encoder's lying a little bit. So thanks for joining. Till next time, Homeless Data Project.